Bitcoin. A mysterious document appears online. A name. Satoshi Nakamoto, from anonymity to a global financial revolution. The story of Bitcoin. The idea. The mystery. The verdict. Everything started here.
All right, let's dive in. Today, we're gonna unpack an incredible story. It's about a world-changing idea, the ghost who brought it to life, and the wild courtroom drama that tried, once and for all, to put a face to the name. I mean, think about it. It's gotta be one of the greatest mysteries of our time, right? Back in 2008, some person, or maybe it was a group, called Satoshi Nakamoto, they published a paper, built a system that would one day be worth trillions. And then, just like that, they vanish, leaving behind nothing but a digital ghost and a technology that would change everything. Okay, so to really get why Bitcoin was such a game changer, you have to rewind to 2008. The internet was amazing for sending information, but for money, well, it had this one huge weakness. You see, back then, anytime you wanted to pay for something online, a book, a pizza, sending a few bucks to a friend, it had to go through a middleman, a bank, PayPal, credit card company. You had to trust them. What Satoshi proposed was, well, it was totally radical. A system to send money directly from me to you. No one in between. But there was this massive roadblock, the double spending problem. It's easy with physical cash, right? If I give you a $10 bill, I don't have it anymore. Simple. But digital files, you can copy-paste them a million times. So how do you stop me from spending that same digital $10 bill over and over again without a bank keeping track of everything? And this quote from the original white paper, it just nails it. Satoshi's goal wasn't just to make payments a little better, it was to completely replace the need for trust with cold, hard cryptographic proof. To build a system where you don't have to trust anyone, you just have to trust the math. So how'd they do it? Well, here's the simplified version, straight from the source. Imagine the network is like thousands of accountants, all watching the same ledger. When you make a payment, everyone sees it. They all bundle a bunch of new transactions together into a block. Then they all race to solve a really, really hard math problem. The first one to solve it gets to add their block to the public ledger, the blockchain. Everyone else checks their work, and then the race starts all over again for the next block. It creates this unbreakable, unchangeable chain of history. Okay, but why on earth would anyone do all this work? I mean, it costs real money for electricity and powerful computers, and this is where Satoshi's genius really shines. The accountant who solves the puzzle first gets a reward, brand new Bitcoin. Satoshi called them miners, just like gold miners who spend resources to pull gold out of the ground. It's a brilliant system that both keeps the network secure and gets the coins into circulation. So you have this brilliant idea, this nearly perfect system. But as it starts to take off, the real question becomes, who on earth is this ghost in the machine? Satoshi's time in the spotlight was like a flash in the pan. Super intense, but incredibly short. The paper drops in 2008, the network launches in 2009. For 2 years, he, or she, or they, were actively coding, talking on forums. And then in April 2011, an email goes out saying they'd moved on to other things. And then, poof, gone, vanished without a trace. And in that vacuum, the internet did what it does best. It went into a frenzy. The speculation was just wild. People were digging through old forums, Reddit threads, pointing fingers everywhere. Was it Hal Finney, the guy who got the very first Bitcoin transaction? Maybe the brilliant cryptographer Len Sassaman. Some people thought it had to be a whole group of people, or even some secret government agency like the CIA. For years, it was just theories. Nobody knew anything for sure, until 2015, when someone actually stepped out of the shadows and said, "It was me." That someone was an Australian computer scientist named Dr. Craig Wright. But this wasn't just another internet debate. Oh no, this claim was about to be tested in a very real, very high-stakes legal battle, right in the High Court of the United Kingdom. So here's how it went down. A group called COPA, the Crypto Open Patent Alliance, basically called his bluff. They took him to court to get a judge to declare that he was not Satoshi. This was all happening because Dr. Wright was suing other people claiming he owned the copyright to Bitcoin and they were infringing on it. Now, to be fair, Dr. Wright came prepared, or so it seemed. He presented this absolute mountain of digital documents, drafts, emails, all kinds of notes that he said proved he was working on Bitcoin way back in the 2000s. But here's where the whole thing just completely unravels. Take a look at this. It's a forensic analysis of just one of his so-called proof documents. That big spike of activity you see, all those hundreds of edits, they happened in November 2023, just a few months before the trial was set to start, not back in the 2000s. And the experts found this stuff everywhere. Documents with fonts that didn't even exist back then. It was a mess. So after all the testimony and all the evidence was presented, the judge's conclusion wasn't just a simple ruling. It was an absolute bombshell. He said that Dr. Wright's documents had been forged, and not just a little bit, but on a grand scale. And the final verdict, it was just devastatingly clear. The court left zero room for doubt. The judge officially declared that Dr. Craig Wright is not the author of the white paper, not Satoshi Nakamoto, not the creator of Bitcoin, and not the author of the software. The case was closed. The ghost was still a ghost. So, the trial is over. The court says who Satoshi isn't. But here's the incredible part. While all this human drama was playing out in a courtroom, the idea itself had grown into something that just didn't need a creator anymore. You see, while everyone was focused on the courtroom, the thing Satoshi created from that 9-page paper, it was just exploding. By 2023, the total value of the crypto market was already over $1 trillion. Then, just 1 year later, while the trial was going on, it more than doubled, $2.5 trillion. And that momentum just keeps going. We're looking at nearly $3 trillion in 2025. It's become this force of nature, completely detached from any one person. And get this, even with literally thousands of other cryptocurrencies out there now, look at who's still on top, Bitcoin. The original creation still makes up nearly 2/3 of the entire market. It is still the undisputed king of the hill. This image just says it all, doesn't it? Satoshi might have built the engine and laid the first few feet of track, but this train has left the station. It's an unstoppable force now, and it doesn't matter who's at the controls, or if anyone is. And that brings us to the biggest question of all. A system was built to run on proof, not trust. Its creator stayed anonymous. A court had to step in to rule on a false identity claim. And through it all, the idea just got bigger and bigger. So maybe that's the real paradox here. In a system built from the ground up to get rid of the need to trust people, maybe the identity of the person who created it was never supposed to matter in the first place.
100M Crypto. If it matters in blockchain, it lives here.